Hi, and welcome back to the channel, guys. We are continuing Avatar: The Last Airbender. This is Book 1, Chapter 2, The Cave of Two Lovers. What's gonna happen? Is it gonna be like... it immediately makes me think of, the cave that John and Ygritte went into, and with the whole...
and that we actually visited.
And that we actually visited when we went to Iceland. The waters, they were very, very, very warm, and we found out that they actually didn't really shoot it down there, which was, that was a little bit of a letdown, but it was just too hot down there and too steamy. But anyways, what's this going to be about? Cave of Two Lovers. We know that there have been some sparks here and there, kind of, between Aang and Katara, or mostly from Aang's perspective, like he's... kind of smitten by her. I don't know if it has something to do with that, or maybe Sokka is gonna fall in love with someone new already, even though like the whole thing with the princess happened not that long ago, and I'm thinking he's still kind of affected by it a little bit, because
we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. Either way, it's gonna be interesting to see what this is all about. And the first chapter was in this one was amazing, like the previous episode, I think, and it really set the groundwork for what some of the stuff that's gonna happen in book 2, and there were some surprises here and there, and everything. So yeah, it's a very good start to the season so far, I think. But do you have anything you wanna... Nope. Alrighty, then let's jump into it. And you can of course always check out our full-length reactions for Avatar and all the other shows that we're doing on our Patreon page. The link is down in the description below. And here we go. So that was chapter 2. And yeah, I really enjoyed this one as well. It did seem like it was gonna move into like lighter tone territory, or some lighter thematics, but we still had a lot of room for character growth and exciting stuff happening, and like our heroes in danger and everything, both with Aang and with Zuko as well. Like I like the way that they are like jumping back and forth between these two characters, and like they've been doing that for the entire series up until now, but it's just getting more and more interesting, especially because of where Zuko and Iroh they are now, just mentally and like physically being on the run and everything. But let's start with Aang and the others. They met these very interesting people that we kind of called them hippies while watching, but hippies, donut type, or just peace, love, and like very cliche like peace, love, and harmony, and just go wherever the flow takes you kind of deal, and one step at a time. And it did seem like they might have partaken in some or yeah, smoking something, or
Eating something,
or eating something. I don't know, like especially that that guy with the guitar, who is kind of like their leader in a sense. He did many times throughout the episode. It seemed like he was kind of stoned. So yeah, but they might have kind of posed like an important lesson on Aang and Sokka and Katara, and the whole thing with taking it slow and just going with the flow sometimes, and not just being too concerned about your plans, and like,
it's not about the destination, but the journey.
Exactly,
towards that
exactly.
destination.
As they said in the end, yeah, that was a great way to put it. And
can be translated into many different areas of life.
Exactly. It's a good philosophy to have, for I think, at least, not with everything all the time. Like, you do need to like sometimes plan some stuff ahead and just think about tomorrow a little bit. But the whole notion of staying in the now, I like that, at least. And they led them to this cave, the Cave of Two Lovers, that we then got to, learn about these lovers and why and how they created the cave. that was pretty touching.
Very.
Very touching actually. And we learned that they're actually Oma and Shu put them together, Omashu. So that's why they named the city what they like, Omashu. And they were the first Earthbenders as well, and they learned it from these
Badger moles.
badger moles. Yeah, these huge badger moles who are also they also like music, which
That was lucky.
That was very lucky that Saka, he found himself with all the hippie types there and their guitars and everything, and they could quickly just hey, let's make some music. And yeah, that was interesting as well. And then Aang and Katara getting split up from the rest with Appa, thankfully.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, and something kind of happened there between those two as well.
We don't know if they actually kissed.
No, and that was pretty clever, like just visually, not showing it. And yeah, that was clever.
What did they expect? Why can't we see it?
Well,
to leave us guessing, or just to...
I think it's both to leave us guessing and also a kind of a clever way of doing it in a kids show without actually having two characters passionately kiss.
Happening from a kiss? Like, they don't get STDs or something from a kiss.
No, but like there are probably many people out there where as soon as like two characters are showing affection for one another or love and like anything that's getting close to the act of love, like that is, we cannot have the kids watch that. Violence, fine, but love and the physical act of love, that is, no, not we don't want to show the kids. Which, yeah, I don't know if that's the case with this one. It's just with a lot of stuff, especially when it's made for a younger audience, they will cut out anything that resembles that sort of stuff. I think. I could be wrong. Either way, they kissed, or maybe they didn't.
I think they did, because when they got outside again, and Katara was, when they said goodbye to the hippies, I saw Katara being flushed, or like...
Yeah, she's blushing, yeah.
Yeah. And I think that might be like when she thought back at what happened.
It may have been, and also Aang's, just his whole reaction and his willingness to be like after that, like, so how did you guys get out? Love. And like he seemed like very proud in a way. So I think they kissed. I think they did. And while doing so, they let the light go out on the torch thing there. Or was it a candle and not a torch? I'm not quite sure. But yeah, then the crystals, they lit up and showed them the way. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And that was also a way for these two lovers to find each other. And then they also found their tomb, or they did that prior to the kiss and finding the crystals and everything. And at first, like, Aang, dude. Whew.
Oh, way to
fuck it up.
Shoot yourself in the foot there.
Yeah, man. But that's a very, like, we've seen that in many things with, kids or teenagers who don't want to be like, they don't want to admit that they're in love with someone, and then they'll just
go to the straight
opposite, and be like, oh, I would never, and oh,
you're disgusting,
and just to throw them off. But then they go completely overboard and just, as you say, shoot themselves in the foot.
Yeah, I don't even know if that's a saying in English, but
I'm fairly certain it is.
And when they saw that the crystals started lighting up, Katara just went straight on her way. But Aang was about to tell her something.
Aang was about to say something, yeah.
Yeah, and perhaps he was actually going to tell the truth, or try to own up to it, or maybe, thinking that there was something there and maybe wanting to talk about it or something like that.
This could be the right moment when I just profess my love, because, hey, we're in the cave of two lovers and we just kissed.
Yeah.
We're guessing.
So, do you want to be my sweetheart? Something like that. But yeah, she just didn't notice
She just
him
bolted, and and then he went after her, and Appa was like, oh, "Wait for me!" Because Appa does not like being underground, as they also told us at the beginning of the episode. And I thought it was quite clever the way that they were like, "No, we're not gonna go underground. We have a flying bison. We're just gonna go there, like fly there, like we normally do." And then they just showed us a very quick, like brief glimpse of them, flying around and dodging fires and everything. And then them going back and being like, okay, just show us the freaking cave then.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good way to show that. Because if they had just been like, oh, that sounds interesting, let's go through the cave, we might have been like, but why don't they just fly over the mountain if they can do it?
Yeah, it was a bit of a meta comment or something like that.
Yeah. It's so that exactly. So that was a way for the people behind the show to be like, we know, under like usually they would just be able to fly there, but we need them to go through this cave, and this is why they can't fly there right now.
And it was a funny way of doing it. It was.
It was. The series. They still they continue to balance the fun and like all the character growth and like they balance it very well. Is all I'm trying to say.
And there was a lot of Appa in this one. We were just talking about Appa. There's a lot of Appa in this one.
Yeah, showing a lot of personality.
Yeah, exactly. He clearly didn't like to be underground. He was just starting to scrape at the walls, and he ended up. He threw a bit of a tantrum, but when he got to what they thought was the exit, then he kind of said, "Okay, step aside. I'm gonna take care of this." And
I'm gonna ram this freaking door.
Yeah, and when they got out on the other side, as soon as he saw Momo, he let Momo talk with him, and they had their little talk about what happened, and
that was cute.
That was so cute, and
yeah, and he was so happy to get out in the open and just like, finally,
and. Yeah, turning over so we could see his little toe beans or his giant toe beans.
Yeah. We love Appa and Momo, of course.
He's a big fluffy animal. What's not to love about him?
Exactly. He's amazing. But we quickly learned after all of that that it ended on kind of a sour note, because even though they made their way through the cave and everything, and they learned some things along the way and all good stuff, pretty much, they got to Omashu and they saw that it is under occupation. It has been taken over by the Fire Nation, which, that sucks. I really, really hope nothing happened to Boomy. Yeah, exactly. I hope he's still alive. He's very old, but he's also extremely powerful earthbender, if not the most powerful earthbender. So, that's gonna be going into the next one. We're very nervous about Boomy and Omashu in general. But that was not everything that happened in this one. We also had Iroh and Zuko continuing their journey now that they are totally alone, just the two of them on the run.
How they cope with being fugitives.
Exactly, that's of course that's not nice, and especially Zuko is like, I cannot live like this. This is so far from what I'm used to. So yeah, there's some stuff for him to learn and get used to, at least. But Iroh, he kind of fucked up in this one. He like looked at that damn flower and he could just not let it go. He was like, it's either the most delicious tea in the world or it's poison and it's gonna kill me. And he just went for it. He just went for it, and I'm sorry, but he's such a character. He's so much like me. I'd almost say he's my spirit animal, but I do have a lot of spirit animals. Yeah, that's true. He's really channeling a lot of me. I feel like he's so relatable. He's a very relatable character, and I'm still so happy that him and Zuko, they are on this journey together, and that he's still, even though he fucks up once in a while and like kind of put them in danger, because then they had to go out and like, talk to people and like find help somewhere for Iroh, and they quickly made the decision that getting killed by the Earth Nation is way better than anything that Zuko's sister will do to them.
Yeah.
Which I agree with that. She seems like the kind of person who wouldn't just kill them. She would play with them, or do something worse, and of course capture them and bring them to the Fire Lord. Who, I don't want to get caught by that guy, not at all.
No. But I think even though Iroh has a tendency of course, making a few mistakes here and there. One thing is that of course it adds to his character that he's not like invincible, like he's not perfect in any way.
No.
Or that's ironically what's making him perfect is that he's actually making mistakes. But
a perfect character, that is, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. In that regard, he is perfect. But a lot of his mistakes often leads to a bigger life lesson.
Exactly.
And I feel like this was sometimes I even think he does this
on purpose, almost.
On purpose, yeah, because it's like he wants to teach Zuko something. And I thought this the lesson he wanted to teach him with this one was to be humble and grateful for people around you, and try to show Zuko that around outside the Fire Nation that people are just people, and maybe trying to teach him a little bit of
exactly what are all these people going through? All like you've been so focused on doing something for the Fire Nation and catching the Avatar and getting back into your father's good graces, like taking some time to actually learn what's going on around you and with the other nations and all the people who have been wronged by the Fire Nation. That's a very important lesson. And I also think a little part of it might also be, if it was partly on purpose, Zuko also needs to take care of Iroh sometimes. Something can happen, and they might get into a situation where they will have to make a decision like they just did. And this wasn't like the worst of situations they could get into. It's not like they got caught or anything, or one of them got, God forbid, killed. But yeah, they still managed to get out of it and then learn something along the way, and that was pretty nice.
And I think a big part of it as well is also Zuko trying to teach Zuko how to be, not how to be a fugitive, but at least how you get by as a fugitive, because it's such a big difference as to what he was before. He's actually a fugitive.
Yeah. Before, like, he could go wherever he went, he wanted people to know who he was, because he's the freaking prince. He's the son of the Fire Lord and everything. He had status before. Now his status is what makes him a fugitive, so he has to hide it. So that's just, he has to go about things in a totally new way. So it's good that he's learning now, even though at the end, like, that wasn't really maybe, I don't know, the right thing to do, stealing their horse, I was about to say, stealing their ride, that wasn't nice. And I think the lady there, or the girl, she saw it as well, and she was like, sad about it, that they did what they did. I don't know if they, had any suspicions, the people they were staying with, about Zuko or Iroh and where they were from. The scar that he's got, it does, make him very unique. And now that he's on the run and his picture gonna be up in places and stuff, wanted posters, it's gonna make it very easy to spot. But I also think for people who maybe don't know about him being wanted, it could be a sign of, hey, you've also been hurt by the Fire Nation. That's a very clear, like, scar, like, that's a burn you got there. and she even showed him her her scar, her scar tissue on the legs, which also happened because she got burned.
Yeah, she was trying to relate to him, and she was trying to reach out.
Yeah.
And say we understand what you're going through. We were fugitives ourselves, and of course we want to help because we've been there.
Yeah, we understand your pain.
Yeah,
Totally.
and I think him completely shutting her down and even stealing the ride and not really wanting to say goodbye to them, and he was being very rude and everything. And I think it says a lot about his character and what he needs to learn even more. It's about this, he's building up these walls all the time, and he won't let people reach out to him.
Yeah, he won't let them in, at least, yeah.
Yeah, and perhaps he's afraid of, people wanting to do good by him.
Yeah, that could definitely be it. Or just, the whole notion of people feeling sorry for him. I don't think that's something he ever wanted. So that could also, be a part of the whole like big change he's going through, and like the status that he had, which doesn't really apply anymore. And now he's just a fugitive and someone who's been wronged by the Fire Nation, just as her. And he maybe didn't want to see himself as that, and that's why he was like pushing it away and didn't really want to say goodbye, because he's not willing to face what he actually is now. Maybe.
And I don't think he's ready to face that the Fire Nation is the baddies, when he himself is from the Fire Nation and still, I think, to some degree, still
loyal,
or holds some sort of honor towards being from the Fire Nation.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's completely let go of that pride yet.
No.
And once again, that's what I meant with him trying to adapt into the situation of being a fugitive.
Yeah. Like, and he's been focused, as we said, on the Fire Nation his entire life, and never really, I'm thinking, he never really paid attention to anything else around him besides the Fire Nation, and it has always meant like strength and like superiority and all of that. That's what it that's what it means to him, or that's what it meant to him. And now he's just, for the first time, probably learning what goes on around all of that, and with the rest of the world and the people therein. So it's he has started the path, not perhaps not as willingly as we would like, maybe, but I have a feeling that he'll get there, slowly but steady.
I hope so.
But do you have anything else?
Once again, teeny tiny thing.
Yeah.
The whole sequence where they talk about Omashu and how Omashu became Omashu.
The two lovers.
Yeah. That tale, the way it was animated, it was very different from everything else we've seen so far when they do these small animated bits. But the animation style was so beautiful, almost like watercolors or something. It was so beautifully made, and I just thought it was very nice this way that they are including a little bit of lore about the different kind of bending. For example, this one where we actually just got to know where exactly earthbending came from.
Yeah, like how it happened, and the creatures who taught them earthbending.
Exactly.
That's a really interesting stuff.
Yeah.
I love when we get into the lore and everything, and we saw like some sort of, like the notion of using a different kind of animation to tell us a story. We saw that in the
Great Divide.
The Great Divide, yeah. Where they even used like two different animation styles there, and they jived very well with the kind of people who were telling it and everything. And I think this one, the kind of animation style they then chose to show us, to tell the story of these two lovers, that was also very fitting in a way, and it just yeah, I like that. It's very reminiscent. I think of is it Deathly Hallows Part Two or Part One, where Hermione she tells the story about the Elder Wand, and like it just goes into this whole different sort of like animation style, or almost
Yeah.
looks stop motion, I think, or something. But it was just so cool because it was so different from everything else that we had seen throughout the movies. And yeah, it's just a cool way of telling you something, or like giving you some exposition and yeah, lore in a cool visual way. But I think that's gonna do it for this reaction and review of Avatar: The Last Airbender, Book 2, Chapter 2, The Cave of Two Lovers. Thank you guys so much for watching as always, and we will see you very soon. Bye!
Bye.